Hi, welcome to 2023. I didn't think I would make a video again, and you can't see it, but I have actually a stack of books right in front of me here, and those are all the, well, Christmas season purchases. Let's start. So the first book I have here is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's also the first book I tried to paint the edges. The edges are grey, and it's also my current read. So in the story we are following Vanya, who is a wicked maid who just stole the entire identity of somebody else, actually the princess she was working with. She's also the goddaughter of Fortune and Death, after being sacrificed basically by her own mother. And yeah, from there on, actually from the motivation of not needing to serve either of her godmothers, because first of all she doesn't want to choose between her parents, she tries to find a way to just get away with her duty at some point. But I can't say if she's going to be doing it well or not, because I'm still in the middle of reading it. So basically this is where I am, which is like 10, not 10, but 20% in, and this no cheat is where I want to be, maybe at the end of this day. What I also wanted to point out is, like, as I said, this is the first book I ever tried to paint on. I also like the book so far, so I don't regret painting on it. It was inspired by the Luminaries edition they had, but I wanted to make it my own, so yeah. I like how it turned out. I know it could have been better, but for me trying it for the very first time, I think I did actually a quite good job. I'm proud of myself for that. The next book I have here is The Whispering Dog by Kelly Andrew, and I bought the Luminaries edition secondhand, and that was also the book I read to the beginning of the year. Yeah, it's my first book of this year, and I read that in the context of a book club I am joining since last year, the Fantasy Fortress book club. But that is actually the book we read for January, or are still reading for January, and I must say it's a good read for me. It felt like a nice start into the year. However, I must say the ending part, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending part was a little confusing to me. Also, I wanted to point out, look at those sprayed edges. They're gorgeous. The next thing is, like, I think it's a trilogy, but I don't know if Toshikazu Kawaguchi is bringing more of that story. But it's those books. If you look at the cover, you might have known it from TikTok and just general social media. I am looking forward to read it this year. I have it on my TBR for this year because they are very short, and especially for the start of this year, so like around March and April, I might need something which is a little bit on the shorter side. And yeah, honestly, I want to read, I don't know, just more for myself and less for the number I've been reading, if this makes sense. Like, my usual goal was always 50 books, but I reduced that because first of all, I know this year is going to be stressful, at least to the beginning, and I don't know about the rest of that, so it's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to it. I heard it's really cozy, but also emotional, and I'm really up for that. The next thing I have here is another trilogy. I might start this year, but I don't know yet, because again, year is going to be quite an adventure. Is the Puppy War trilogy. I have them bought as paperbacks because I also think I might like it, and I might start annotating it. So I don't mind also working with hardbacks, but especially for the size of just one book alone, I think it might work better with paperback. So far, I must say I like the way Kuang. So far, I must say I like the way Arth Kuang is writing. I have not finished Babel yet, but from what I've read of Babel, of a book right now, I really like it. So it's really intricate. It's also really intricate. I hope that is the right word. But the thing about Babel is, the author also uses footnotes, and I'm really fond of footnotes. I don't know why. It's possibly because in uni I learned to value footnotes much more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to read them. So something I might start reading in February or maybe later is the next installment of the series. This is Venom Dark and Sweet, which is following a magic steeped in poison, which I've read last year, and it was actually quite a nice book. I especially liked the magic system, which is based on tea, and I really want to know how the story continues and if there is more coming, because I must be honest, the first book, the characters felt a tiny bit shallow, but it could have been simply because I was getting used to the entire environment. So maybe we have more in-depth feeling about that in the second book, so it's going to be interesting. I think I talked about this book on TikTok before, but it is Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman's Good Omens, and yeah, I heard there's going to be a new season for the TV adaptation, if there is not already one out there. The thing is, I really want to rewatch the whole thing at one point so that I can refresh my memories, or just read the book, because we love the characters. They are funny. And oh my god, all the feels. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, anyways, is something I heard a lot of good things, especially from a friend of mine who I trust with book recommendations as well. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting because again we have magic, but we also have, I'll tell you, yes, I like Dark Academia, but I also like generally the academia part in it. Also with the criticism about academia. I really like that. And so I'm really looking into this, and I think I'm going to read it this year because, again, it's a rather short book. So, and I might just consume it in one go, depending on how much I like it. So the next book, and I realized too late that it was from Harper Collins, is Coraline by Neil Gaiman, at least this version. I think there's also one from a different publisher. But yeah, I did not mention it before. Yeah, I did buy stuff by Harper Collins, let's be real, I'll be honest, and it's possibly not the greatest thing to do, especially when the Harper Collins Union is still on strike. And yeah, am I proud of myself? Of course not. I'm not proud of myself, but I buy a lot of books just by cover or by hearing that they are good, especially from my inner circle. And sometimes I forget, that happened. I want to mention that if you can support the Harper Collins Union, because currently the strike is still going on. I think we are at like 48 days of strikes, at least from the point of I am recording, and it is just maddening to hear that label is not treating their co-workers pretty well. Support the union if you can, but we're going to continue with the haul now. The next book I'll have is another gift from my best friend, and that is Wolfsong by TJ Klune. I am looking forward to just collect all the books with that type of cover. I've seen over from Macmillan's Instagram. I think it was Macmillan or Tor, it could be both, that yeah, they are planning to release the book, or better said, re-release the book with the new covers, and I'm really looking forward to, because honestly this is stunning. My best friend did not plan to buy it, but she saw it and was like, yeah, that is totally Chris, and she was right, this is totally for me, because I have this book to be read on my list for a while now, I think a few years now, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's massive, so this is a little bit intimidating, I'll be honest, but from the font size, it looks like it's manageable, so gosh, I am looking forward to read this. Yeah, when I get to it. But like, I am swooning for this cover. So the book I have now is A Scatter of Light. It's also a rather thin book, so this is going to be fun to read as well. Font size, it also looks pretty, yeah, okay to me, so it's not going to be straining my eyes too much. And I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I think I can snuck it in this year. I'm not going to make promises. What I also want to read is, which you can see here on the bottom, Last Night at the Telegraph Club by the same author. And honestly, this was a spontaneous purchase because I was buying before the coffee got cold, and yeah, Talia and Oziander both had, as far as I know, they are related branches, so they both had that buy 3 and get a 4th English book for free, and I bought some books, so this is also why I have so many books now. But honestly, I'm not regretting buying it, and I heard good things about it, so it's going to be another contemporary piece, which I'm going to love, possibly. So I actually bought this before Christmas season hit us, but still delivery started to be taken a long time, so I was waiting for it for a while. So, and that is Down Comes the Night by Alison Saft. She is also the author of Far Wilder Magic, which I have to finish because the book is great, but I was in a reading slump and yeah, kind of stopped myself from reading. Like, I don't DNF books all the time on purpose. Sometimes it just happens. Yeah, by accident. I did not stop the tracking simply because I just want to be honest to myself. I'm not going to reread the first pages because I have them memorized in my head. So for me, it's not hard to catch up on stories which I have stopped midway. But yeah, I want to finish it because the story is so beautiful, and I really love how Alison is writing, and this is also why I bought Down Comes the Night, because I am sure that A Far Wilder Magic is going to be a very high rated book for me, even though I take so much time to read it. A book my best friend bought me for Christmas is Cemetery Boys. It is the third book of all the books she got me for this Christmas, or like better said, last Christmas. And this is also my first book by Aiden Thomas, which I am looking forward to read. I have his Sunbearer trials as TBR, not physically here, but I want to read this as well, because honestly, when it comes to books where characters learn about their own identity, I think I'm going to eat this up, simply because as somebody who struggles with their own identity at times, I mean, I'm more certain about how I feel about myself now, but that was not always the case, and honestly, it's so wonderful to read about that, because you know for yourself how much you struggle with it, and wherefore, yeah, I am super grateful that my friend got me that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to read it. The thing is from the December books by Illuminate, The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodard. I hope I pronounce it correctly. My French is super broken, just for your information. I wanted to point out those ombre edges which might not be picked up too well on camera but are super stunning in person. And this is, I think, sci-fi actually, so I am hesitant about sci-fi, not about the sapphic part. I honestly, we need more sapphic in stories personally, but I am very, 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 very hesitant about sci-fi because I have not stepped my foot into it yet. At least not as much as I possibly want to. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep it for a little bit longer and maybe I'll give it a go. Last but not least is the book from the, I think that was November, of Illuminate, and that is the Luminaries, and it is super shiny because there's so much gold foiling and I really love that. There's also more gold foiling underneath the dust jacket, and honestly I love the spray just so much. I love plant based things, also like vines and branches and flowers and stuff. Oh god, give me those edges. Mwah. I love them. So yeah, I really want to read this though, but I don't know when is going to be a good season to just read it, because it feels to me like, especially from the colors, that it's more of an autumn read, but I had to wait a little longer to get that because shipping to Germany, especially from the UK, currently UK and international shipping is a little hard as far I got to know. So yeah. The thirst is dangerous for luminary untrained. Also, can we talk about, I think that are two sparrows and the moon. Oh my god. I am digging up, like I'm not digging up, but I am really intrigued into all the details they put into this book. So I can not show all the books again. It's such a stack. I am currently balancing them on my legs and they hurt. But I hope you have a wonderful start into the year, even though January is slowly ending. And I hope 2023 is going to treat you well, and that in case there are obstacles coming your way, that you just get overwhelmed swiftly without further issues. And yeah, I just hope you have a good year ahead, or good years, because honestly we all could use a lot of happiness now after the past years, which have been quite a roller coaster, I must say, as far as I noticed. So yeah, have a wonderful year and a wonderful reading time. I see you around. Bye bye.